The Pacers entered the 2021-2022 season with playoff aspirations, but some bad luck and tight losses derailed the first half of their season, and a series of injuries contributed to their inability to get back on track. By the trade deadline, the Pacers were looking ahead to the future, and they decided to send All-Star center Domantas Sabonis to Sacramento in a 6-player deal for potential franchise cornerstone Tyrese Haliburton. The move was typical of the Indiana team that has historically been reluctant to launch a full-fledged rebuild, as was the case when they traded Paul George to OKC in 2017 for Sabonis and Victor Oladipo. The Pacers preferred to acquire a promising young star rather than faraway draft picks, in hopes of accelerating their return to the postseason. With a top 10 pick in hand and some intriguing talent under contract, it will be interesting to see how much patience the front office is willing to exercise this offseason as the retooling process continues. So in today's video, let's talk about what the Indiana Pacers offseason is going to start to look like. We know that Haliburton will be part of the future in Indiana, and it's safe to bet that in 2021 first-rounders Chris Duarte and Isaiah Jackson, they're not going anywhere either. Beyond that, there are some unanswered questions. And the biggest question mark of them all is Myles Turner. He was once viewed as the NBA's top trade candidate this season. Now, with Sabonis gone, is Turner going to stick around, or will the Pacers still be willing to discuss him in trade talks? If he's part of the long-term plans, will Indiana be able to extend him this offseason? And would Turner be open to that extension? We also have Malcolm Brogdon. He's under contract for 3 more seasons and could theoretically fit alongside Haliburton, since both players can handle the ball or play off it, and neither is a defensive liability. But there has been some speculation that Brogdon could be dealt, especially if the Pacers want to clear some long-term money from their books. He wasn't trade eligible during the season after signing that extension, but he will be this summer. Is Indiana going to look to still move him? We also have to talk about Buddy Hield. He was included in that Haliburton trade on February. It wasn't clear whether he was simply thrown in for salary matching purposes, or if the Pacers envisioned him remaining on the roster beyond this season. His performance in Indiana made that even more interesting question. His 18.2 points per game and 44% shooting from the field was a significant step up from the numbers he was putting up in Sacramento, and he flashed newfound playmaking skills. Hield, he has 2 years and $40 million left on his contract, which looks like a little more team-friendly than it did 3 or 4 months ago. We all know the Lakers would be interested in Hield, and the Pacers, they wouldn't have to attach any other assets, and it's unclear what their intentions are with Buddy. Next up, we got Jalen Smith. He played really well for the Pacers after arriving in that deadline deal, but because his rookie scale team option was declined last year, the team can't offer him a starting salary higher than about $4.7 million, which may not be enough to bring him back. Also, I wouldn't really expect Ricky Rubio or TJ Warren, neither of whom played a game for Indiana this season. And for the team's final unrestricted free agent, Lance Stevenson, he's a good candidate for a new deal. He seems to have found a home in Indiana. And of course, before they have to make any free agent decisions, the Pacers will have a lot riding on the draft lottery results. Their offseason will take a much different shape if they're picking in the top 3 or 4 than it would if they slip to the number 7 or number 8 pick. Let's talk salary cap. I'm going to put up a graph right now, and that shows you everything you need to know about the Indiana Pacers salary cap situation. So, let's take into account their returning players, Brissett's team option, and a cap hold for their first-round pick. The Pacers project to have about $95 million in guaranteed money. That number could fluctuate a little one way or the other, depending on their lottery luck, but it puts the team in position to open up at least $20 to $25 million in cap space. Taking that route would mean renouncing most of their free agent cap holds, as well as about $35 million in free agency and trade exceptions. So, the Pacers would need a good reason to renounce those cap charges and operate under the cap. If they have no specific use for the space, they could simply continue to function as an over-the-cap club, retaining all of their exceptions. Let's talk about the draft. The pick that they have is dependent on the lottery results. It could land anywhere between number 1 and number 9. I'm really sold on EJ Little being a great NBA player. The Pacers, they probably wouldn't get him at 31, but they could package the 31st and the 58th picks and Goga Batez to move up and get him. With that said, Little is more of a 4 or 5 position player than a 3. And the position of need right now is that 3 spot. So the Pacers should be okay with taking the best player available with the 31st pick. So that leads me into today's question. Who would you guys take at the 31st overall pick? Or would you use that pick to use as a trade package to move up in the draft? Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. And tomorrow, we'll be back better than ever with some more Indiana Pacers basketball. But until then, like always, I'll save y'all a seat. Peace.